Let's now take you to our top stories for the week. Asian shares rose on Friday after Wall Street reversed losses on signals of a measured policy tightening approach from the US Fed, as well as on prospects of a solid economic recovery in China. Global markets have been buffeted by a raft of strong US data over recent weeks, including US jobless claims overnight that suggested the Fed will need to raise rates further and for longer. On Friday, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index rose 0.7%, while the Hang Seng Tech Index gained 1.6%. In mainland China, the Shenzhen component fell 0.2% and the Shanghai composite climbed 0.2%. The Nikkei 225 rose 1.53%, leading gains in the region, and the Topix climbed 1.24% as inflation in Japan's capital showed easing in February from the previous month. China's services sector saw a jump in activity according to the Caixin S&P Global Services Purchasing Managers Index, with a reading of 55 in February from 52.9 in January. The rebounding services activity was stronger than manufacturing as external demand remained relatively soft. Also in China, a security think tank that tracks defense, space, energy, and biotechnology claimed on Thursday that China has a stunning lead in 37 out of 44 vital and emerging technologies as Western democracies fall behind in the race for research output globally. The top 10 research universities worldwide in various sectors, according to the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, are all located in China. Despite leading global research in high-performance computing, quantum computing, small satellites, and vaccinations, the study, which was funded by the US State Department, showed that the US was frequently rated second. In Nigeria, the Supreme Court has extended the validity of the 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes till December 31 this year. A 7-member panel of the court, led by John Okoro, unanimously directed that the CBN must continue to receive the old notes from Nigerians. The court also held that the directive of President Muhammadu Buhari for the redesign of the new notes and withdrawal of the old notes without due consultation is invalid. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Stock Exchange fell Wednesday, March 1st, as investors digested the news of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Nigeria's president-elect. The all-share index closed trading at 55,508.61 points, down 0.53% from where trading started. The market was up 4.88% in February, despite the prevailing challenges of fuel and cash scarcity, and so far this year, the market has been up by over 8%. Still in Nigeria, oil multinational Shell has won a bid to limit a British lawsuit over an oil spill off the coast of Nigeria after a judge ruled that a group of thousands of Nigerians couldn't prove that the disaster continued to wreak devastation on communities years later. Lawyers for the Nigerian group had argued that the spill of some 40,000 barrels of oil, which happened during a transfer of oil between two vessels, wreaked havoc across communities. They said the oil became stranded on the seabed in mangrove swamps and rivers, to then be spread by storms and floods as late as 2014. Still on oil and gas, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has confirmed an explosion that led to a major fire incident near a pipeline in Rumwekwe community in Rivers State in the country's oil-producing Niger Delta region. The Commission says it has since begun investigations into the incident, which occurred in Emuoha local government area of the state on Thursday night. According to a press statement released on Friday and signed by NUPRC's Chief Executive Officer, Banger Komolafe, casualty levels have not been determined. He also assured that the Commission would leave no stone unturned in unraveling the immediate and remote causes of the incident. US authorities announced Thursday night that Swedish telecom firm Ericsson had admitted guilt and agreed to pay a $206 million fine for breaking the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act anti-bribery provisions. According to New York federal authorities, Ericsson previously paid a $520 million fine in 2019 for what they called a years-long campaign of corruption that involved the bribery of public servants and the fabrication of books and records in Djibouti, China, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Kuwait. The business also made a $540 million payment to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Apple partner Foxconn Technology Group plans to invest about $700 million on a new plant in India to ramp up local production, according to media reports, underscoring an accelerating stunt of manufacturing away from China as Washington-Beijing tensions grow. The Taiwanese company plans to build the plant and make iPhone parts on a 300-acre site close to the airport in Bengaluru, the capital of the southern India state of Karnataka. JP Morgan Chase has become the first City of London forecaster to predict that Britain will stay out of recession in 2023 after a slew of more resilient growth signals in recent weeks. The US bank delivered big upgrades to its UK growth projections after a resurgence in consumer confidence and a surprise return to growth territory in the last Purchasing Managers Index. The UK economy was expected to lag behind the US and Eurozone in 2023. But forecasters are turning more positive as political turmoil cools and failing natural gas prices ease the pressure on households and businesses. The Biden administration in the US has put 28 Chinese groups on a trade blacklist for allegedly violating sanctions by sending countries technology for nuclear and missile programs and helping Russia bolster its defense industry. The Commerce Department placed the groups on the Entity List, which largely prohibits American companies from providing them with technology that is produced in the US. Some of the better-known targets include BGI Research and BGI Tech Solutions, which are part of BGI Group, the largest genomics research institute in China. Silvergate Capital is in crisis mode after the crypto bank warned about its ability to continue as a going concern. The disclosure made in a securities filing late Wednesday sent its stock crashing 55% on Thursday to around $6 a share. The disclosure also raised questions about the future of crypto companies' relationships with banks, liquidity in the token market, and whether anyone could step into Silvergate's shoes if the company doesn't survive its latest crisis of confidence. US President Joe Biden's nominee to lead the World Bank, ex-MasterCard Chief Executive Officer Ajay Banger, said he plans to meet with government officials in Europe, Asia, Africa, and potentially Latin America to hear their views on challenges facing the bank. Banger told reporters he believes scientific evidence on climate change and said it would be essential for the bank to structure its operations to continue to work on poverty reduction and inequality while also tackling climate change. And finally, Zoom Video Communications has fired Greg Tomb, who was appointed as the company's president last June. It's the latest shakeup at the video conferencing company, which has implemented mass layoffs and cut executive salaries. Zoom said in regulatory filings that the termination without cause was effective today. When Tomb joined the company, he was announced as being in charge of overseeing its revenue efforts and the office of the Chief Information Officer. Tomb was previously an executive at Alphabet's Google Cloud. Well, that's it for the market roundup.